Ladies and gentlemen,
accompanied to the ring by Benjamin C. Steele and representing Golden Sheik International, all the way from Italy, weighing 183 pounds, Mambo Italiano.
It is November 17th, 2018. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Mr. Paul Atlas and wrestling journalist Mr. Red Watson. And gentlemen, to kick things off here in the Stronghold, we have a man making his return to Ryse, the eccentric, the international Mambo Italiano.
That's true, Jim. And Mambo Italiano, he was a regular tag team wrestler when he first came to Ryse. This will be his first singles match since coming back to Ryse. And of course, he's with that jerk BC Steele.
Yeah, BC Steele's attempted dancing. Looks like he's having a seizure inside the ring.
He's epileptic.
And his opponent, hailing from Cambodia, weighing 80 kilograms, he is Cree Fudo.
And Paul, this young man, Cree Fudo, who has made his name primarily in the state of Ohio, is looking to branch out here. A young man that's been wrestling just about 18 months is looking to transition to a new chapter in his career here at the Stronghold.
And that's right, Jim. We're seeing a large influx of wrestlers from Ohio trying to make their way into Western Pennsylvania, and specifically Ryse Wrestling, because if you're going to be anything in this business, this is the place you need to be.
Certainly an intriguing opening contest between Cree Fudo and Mambo Italiano. As you pointed out, Paul, the wild card at ringside, BC Steele. And as much as I can appreciate the heritage of Mambo Italiano, being a Paisan myself, I don't think this crowd here in Wilmot Furnace is going to get behind the incarnation of Golden Sheik.
Now let's face it, us Italians got to stick together, but yeah, I think you're right. And speaking of, where has Golden Sheik been all this time? We have yet to see Golden Sheik since they were forced to wear those dresses when they lost that match at the hands of System Elite.
I'm going to ask Mr. Red Watson, you're a wrestling journalist, you've been doing some investigative work, some research. Any news on the story? Where is Golden Sheik?
I haven't heard anything about where Golden Sheik is. If I had to wear a dress, though, I certainly wouldn't want to show my face in public, although it seems like BC Steele and Mambo Italiano both have no shame based on their entrance to the ring tonight.
I don't want to see you in a dress either. Heel trip from Mambo. Mambo Italiano does have a slight experience advantage. Of course, Cree Fudo, a man that has really tried to make his way in professional wrestling, a first-generation American, of course, of Cambodian descent. He's really trying to not only make a name for himself in professional wrestling, but just being successful in life through professional wrestling, trying to work his way up the ranks in pro wrestling, and certainly trying to make his parents proud as well, being a first-generation American, trying to make the most of his opportunity growing up here in the United States.
That's true. Let's not forget, Mambo Italiano, that's not just a gimmick, that's not just a name. This young man was born in Italy. He wrestled in Italy. He trained with the great Lance Storm. So this man brings a ton of experience for a short-lived career of maybe 4 or 5 years. Yes, it's been plagued by injury, but the man has seen the world and faced some of the best.
Absolutely. The Storm Wrestling Academy, one of the premier training facilities in the world, but I don't know how well Lance may have prepared Mambo for a shot to the face, because that's what the Italian one got right there. Diving knee from Fudo, lateral press.
That's going to lose some molars. Trying to get some advice from BC Steele here, but I don't know if that's going to be any good or not.
And Mambo better not take his eye off the ball, because as we said, Cree Fudo wants to make a name for himself. He's going to have his foot on the gas the entire way through. No hesitation from this young athlete from Ohio.
That's very true, Jim. That's very true. Like I said, Mambo Italiano, he has the experience. He has international travel. This would be a huge feather in the cap of this young man if he could pull off a victory here tonight.
Nice series of offense from Italiano.
This could be it.
Hooks the leg. And to your point, Paul, the sign of the Landstorm training is something that you can speak to as well. Hooking the leg, something as elementary as that, can make all the difference in a pinfall attempt.
That is very true, Jim. Last week, I know you were on assignment and you weren't here for the Uprise show with me, but that was a major mistake a lot of these young guys made. They would not hook the leg, they would not put the body weight on, and now Mambo using a little...
yeah, this is a tactic out of BC Steel's playbook.
Without a doubt. And I'm not discrediting that. I mean, I took a few shortcuts myself in my career, but hey, it ain't cheating if you don't get caught.
Sapping on the chin lock here. And Red, I'm going to ask you, in this situation, what do you think is on the line for these young up-and-comers when you're on a Ryse event here in the Stronghold? What can that mean for someone's career?
Well, I think it's a great chance to prove yourself, prove your worth as a competitor, and to make a name for yourself and break into the scene here in one of the most wrestling-rich areas of the country here in the Pittsburgh region. Certainly, the experience would seem to favor Mambo Italiano, but Fudo is certainly landing some high-impact offense here early on.
Nice innovation from Cree Fudo. Lateral press, to your point, Paul, did not hook the leg.
Exactly, Jim.
And certainly this event being viewed through the Indie Wrestling Network on IndyWrestling.us. Of course, we want to thank Sidekick Media, Smart Mark Video, all our distribution partners for making this broadcast possible. And again, we're seeing the BC Steel influence.
And if you notice, though, Mambo was smart there. He kept the referee's attention to give BC that opening.
Yeah, that's no accident. Beautiful fisherman's buster. But Fudo showing some tenacity, showing some durability. He's not going to lay down and take it.
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
Mambo hit that move pretty clean, but he did not get enough weight back onto Fudo, and that's why he was able to kick out.
Cree Fudo in a bad way right here. This crowd in Lamont Furnace trying to rally here. Mambo, a very proud Paisan, very proud of himself there.
I don't know, Jim. Is it me or does it look like Mambo's been indulging in mom's spaghetti a little too much? He looks a little softer than he did the last time he was here.
Hey, as someone that loves pasta, I can't fault the Paisan for having some pasta. Fudo avoids the contact. Shotgun drop kick, nicely done from Cree Fudo.
Young man's firing up now. Oh, big knee to the face.
Could be it here. Could be going for that home run swing. No hesitation, the rookie rising to the occasion.
There's those elbows to break himself free of that hole.
Yeah, Mambo wisely got out of that one fast.
And there's where the experience comes in.
BC flailing at ringside. One of his meal tickets is in trouble here, and blatant interference this time.
Numbers game in full effect there.
Absolutely, and Mambo drops Fudo right down onto the knee, hook of the leg, and that'll do it. Credit BC Steel. Mambo steals one.
That was a well-planned
In a time of
move.
6 minutes,
Exactly
20 seconds, your winner, Golden Sheik International's Mambo Italiano.
Cree Fudo was as game as anybody, but the numbers game was too much. Mambo Italiano victorious, and clearly BC Steel has more plans for Ryse Wrestling.
Approaching the ring, representing the main event out of St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 200 pounds. He is the Iceman, Tony Johnson.
The main event has run roughshod over Ryse, but it may be time for some repercussions for one Tony Johnson. The Bearcat is looking for revenge tonight.
That's very true, Keith. And what I'm interested in seeing here is Haught has Tony Johnson all to himself tonight. Duke and Gannon are not in the house. The Liddy Lioness, London Ali, is not in the house. It's going to be straight up one-on-one, Tony Johnson and the Bearcat.
Thanks, Hank. Well, it's good to see you too. I enjoy me. I like looking in the mirror. But it's not about me tonight. It's actually about our dear friend, Keith Haught. You two like Keith Haught. That's about it. He left a very personal and sentimental message on the main event hotline. I shed a tear. I prayed for Keith Haught because of how afraid he was. And man, I'm not even sure if he's here tonight because in the message he sounded so afraid to come to the ring and face me. So I'm going to let you guys hear everything Keith Haught had to say. Go ahead and play the message.
Thank you for calling the main event hotline. This is the group that's mightier than the Avengers, cooler than the Justice League, and if we don't like you, we'll probably take you out of commission. Leave a message after the beep. Beep.
Hey there, this is Keith Haught. No, really, this is the Bearcat, Keith Haught. Tony, you trying to take me out, baby? Well, guess what? Meow, 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 meow. The Bearcat is coming to kick your ass.
They must have tampered with our hotline again. And his opponent, hailing from where the wild things are.
And it's time to fight, gentlemen.
Without a doubt, you can throw this one out the window. Keith Haught's not waiting for introductions. He's not waiting for handshakes. He is going to get his revenge tonight on Tony Johnson.
Of course, gentlemen, we saw on the Ryse Facebook page and RiseWrestling.com, after a live event here at the Stronghold, Tony Johnson attacked Keith Haught backstage and attempted to break his ankle with an ankle lock. Since that time, Keith has been hell-bent on revenge, and right now, the Iceman is seeking some lower ground, some higher ground, or some solace from the wrath of the Bearcat. It's payback time.
Let's face it, this is not just about what he tried to do, what Tony Johnson tried to do to Keith Haught. This is about what Tony Johnson in the main event at the time, Keith Haught, to his friends, System Elite, Ty Cross, and Everhart, and also his tag team partner, the Badger. This is months in the making. Keith Haught has stood by and watched his friends get hurt time and time again, and he wants to put an end to it tonight.
Diving clothesline. Keith Haught using that mass to create some offense. And again, I'm going to go to Mr. Red Watson doing some investigative work. What's the status of System Elite? How are they healing up from the injuries? What's the status of the Honey Badger? How is she healing up from the injuries?
Well, so far, Badger not here tonight. Of course, System Elite was supposed to fight Team Kickflip after the Uprise event, so we'll see how they fare later this evening. Keith Haught, though, coming out of House of Fire this evening, certainly laying it in there to the Iceman right now.
And there's Johnson. It's not pretty, but it's effective. Chop block right to the side of the knee, and that can do extensive damage. The MCL, the ACL, the patella tendon, the meniscus, all susceptible to damage.
Well, not only that, but take it from somebody who knows, that can lead to much, much greater problems down the line. I'm sitting out here with you tonight because of those kind of things.
And make no mistake about it, Tony Johnson will not hesitate to take Keith Haught out. Johnson's not wrestling with a conscience. Johnson and the main event are involved with Ryse Wrestling for one thing and one thing only, and that is to make a bigger name for themselves.
That's without a doubt there, Jim. And I have to say I'm impressed so far with Tony Johnson. Again, he does not have his back up here tonight, so to speak, but he is definitely holding his own against the Bearcat right now.
Well, we talked about it in the opening moments here. Johnson targeted that ankle after a live event just a few months ago, and he's going to do it here again, and we don't know how healed that ankle is.
Oh, and as athletes, you know, we always push it too far. Who knows? I mean, I know Keith has been involved in matches around the area. He's definitely not been resting as much as he probably should have. But tonight he wants one thing and one thing alone, and that is a measure of revenge against Tony Johnson.
Well, certainly Keith Haught had an opportunity to get in the ring with Tony Johnson. He wasn't going to pass that up, whether he's still healing up from that nagging ankle injury. But Johnson, we've seen his precision both inside and outside of the squared circle. He really knows how to zero in on a target. And, you know, he will meticulously pick away at Keith Haught. That is the style and the standard of Tony Johnson. He is extremely well-rounded and always comes in with a strategy.
Oh, without a doubt, and I can definitely speak to that. Tony and I have had many, many battles over the years, and that knee area of mine was something he targeted quite frequently.
And he's targeting it again here as the Bearcat's struggling here. But Keith Haught isn't going to give up. I mean, that's not Keith Haught's style. He's not the biggest man in the fight, but he's made a career for himself because of the heart and the tenacity that he brings to the table.
Oh, I've seen this guy from the very first day that he came into the Pittsburgh area and the Western Pennsylvania indie scene. This kid has been nothing but tenacious. He fights off the mat. He fights tooth and nail every match to win. Thought he had him there for a second.
He had to get off the mat there, and that's where even a pinfall attempt can drain the energy of an opponent. As Keith Haught is being forced to exert the energy to get that weight off of his shoulders to kick out here. And notice how seamlessly Tony Johnson transitions to this maneuver, wrenching on the ankle over the ropes.
And we're continuing to see him attack and target that already injured ankle. It's going to be really hard for Keith Haught to get back into this matchup if he's not able to stand.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't mount an offense if you're laying on your back, and that's where Keith Haught is at right now.
And we've talked about this before. It's classic. It's a classic strategy of wrestling. Wear down a body part, take out a man's arm, take out a man's leg, like I've said before.
Certainly the Anderson philosophy in a way.
Exactly. A three-legged table is good to know, man.
And you can see
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
really a sense of urgency here from Keith Haught because he knows he was boxed into that corner and he can barely stand. And as much resiliency as Keith Haught has, and trust me, he's made, as we said, he's made a career out of being resilient. It may be a matter of time before he is no longer able to get up, and more specifically, no longer able to get those shoulders off of the canvas.
That's true. Right now, Keith has to rely on those corners. He has to rely on those ropes to even stand, and that's putting him in a very precarious position where Tony Johnson can continue that attack.
And let me ask you this, Paul. I mean, you've had a nearly 30-year career. When you're inside the squared circle, how do you overcome adversity? I mean, obviously Keith Haught's in a bad way right now. How do you overcome such a handicap in a sense when you're fighting with such a distinct injury?
Well, you've got to use that adrenaline. You've got to use everything in your power. You've got to understand there's no way to strategize how to overcome an injured leg. You just got to dig down deep, get that adrenaline flowing.
Oh yeah, injured legs. Oh, you know, I mean, like you said, you got a bad wheel. And there we're seeing it. Not only can Keith Haught not generate any momentum off that leg, he can't support his own weight either. And when you're on the canvas, guess what? That's where you lose the matchup as well, right on the canvas, and that's where Keith Haught is.
Exactly. Like I said, he almost needs those ropes and those corners to stand at this point. And it just kind of makes him a sitting duck for Tony Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson's going to pick his spots. We talked about how calculating and how meticulous Johnson is in there. That's one thing you can say about Tony Johnson. He's so well-rounded, he rarely ever makes a mistake.
Oh, without a doubt. But he's also become more vicious since teaming up with the main event.
Absolutely. And if you need any proof of that, there's a forearm shot right to the side of the face of Keith Haught.
Let's face it, the main event, they like to have fun. They like to dance around the ring. London Ali likes to bring her wine. But these guys are top-notch athletes, and they all have that killer instinct.
Yeah, certainly Tony Johnson is an athlete that really found himself through his time in the main event. As Keith Haught finds himself an opportunity.
And this is where that momentum and that adrenaline is going to have to carry him through, because there's a lot of injury done to that leg right now.
Johnson trying to counter here, but as you said, with the adrenaline, Keith Haught overhead throw.
And at this point, that's all Keith Haught is running on. He's running on pure adrenaline. This crowd getting behind him is definitely going to help that.
Keith Haught has a short window to turn the tide here. Can he do it?
firing up now with those clotheslines, knocking Tony Johnson down.
And this is the Haught, the man fighting on one leg. Handspring. Haught countered it. So agile is Tony Johnson. Beautiful transition. Oh, and a creative use of the body weight from Keith Haught.
Without a doubt, and there it is again.
Beautiful senton squashes Johnson.
Wow, you do not get any closer than that.
Just barely there, Paul.
About 2 7/8 on that one.
I know Keith's hurting right now, but he's got to get up on this.
He's taking a home run swing. This may be a mistake, but he knows he's in desperation mode. He's got to take a shot. This is his chance to get out of this matchup with a victory. And Johnson using the referee.
And that's just sheer ring presence, knowing where you're at all times.
Yeah, that was no coincidence. I'm sorry, absolutely no coincidence whatsoever. He knew exactly what was going on there. And caught Keith Haught right between the eyes with the boot. And with his feet on the ropes.
In a time of 9 minutes and 6 seconds, your winner is the Iceman, Tony Johnson.
One way or another, by hook or by crook, the main event continuing to rack up wins here at Ryse. And at this pace, we have to ask ourselves, can anyone stop the main event?
Like I said before, this is a huge, huge deal for Tony Johnson. His cohorts were not in the house. He was still able to pick up the win over Keith Haught.
Approaching the ring at a total combined weight of 400 pounds, they are members of Team Kickflip. Individually, first from Cocoa Beach, Florida, Chase Oliver, and his partner out of Youngstown, Ohio, Tommy Kyle Dean, TKD.
After an impressive showing at last week's Uprise event, Team Kickflip is in the stronghold for Ryse, perhaps the biggest opportunity of their young careers.
That is without a doubt, Keith. That was the first time I saw these two young men were last week at the Uprise show, and I'll tell you what, they are something to deal with. They are going to be a heavy, heavy challenge for System Elite.
And their tag team opponents at a total combined weight of 435 pounds. First, from Wolfton, Virginia, the cartoon contender, Tyler Cross, and his partner from the south side of Pittsburgh, the new ugly, Edric Everhart. Together, they are System Elite.
Tag team that has been the standard of Tri-State Wrestling looks to really reassert themselves here. The past 12 months have been very rocky for System Elite. A series of injuries.
That is very true. Both these young men have suffered severe injuries, and like you said, right now, in the elite of tag team wrestling in the Pennsylvania Southwest area, and especially Pittsburgh, and coming from a man who was once in that very same category, I'll tell you what, these guys have got it all.
You know, we saw System Elite have their problems with Golden Sheik. We've seen System Elite have their problems with the main event as of late. All of that has truly distracted from System Elite's goal to truly prove themselves as the top tag team in the tri-state area. Quite frankly, System Elite could really use a victory here to set themselves right, to put themselves on the right path as Ryse heads into the 2-year anniversary show in just 2 weeks on December 1st. And more specifically, System Elite putting themselves on the right path heading into 2019, which could be the biggest year yet for Ryse.
Without a doubt. And it's not just about wins and losses for System Elite. It's about the injuries that they've suffered. Both men with injured knees. Edric Everhart was out for quite some time before he came back. We know about the injury to Ty Cross at the hands of the main event. This is definitely played heavy on both men's psyche, and I'll tell you what, they need some confidence right here tonight. Hopefully they can get it against Team Kickflip, but this is not going to be an easy match for these guys.
Absolutely. I mean, in one sense, System Elite is an established tag team, but they cannot take Team Kickflip lightly because Chase Oliver and TKD, 2 young men out of the AIW Academy in Ohio, students of Dominic Guarini, one of the premier grapplers in independent professional wrestling. So you're going to see a very well-versed tag team challenge here. These guys are young and they may be unfamiliar to our Ryse audience, but make no mistake about it, Team Kickflip have proven themselves to be worthy. You don't make it onto a Ryse event unless you've made your bones and you proved yourself, and that's what Team Kickflip did just last week at Uprise.
Not enough. They were in a win in your in event, and they did take the win. And again, there's an Ohio influx coming into Southwest Pennsylvania, coming into the Pittsburgh area, here at the Mont Furnace, specifically here at Ryse Wrestling, place to be.
Well, certainly Ryse Wrestling is bringing not only some of the best young talent, but such a revolving variety, such an influx. You're going to see new, fresh, and exciting talent each and every time you're in the Stronghold.
There's that tag team continuity of System Elite. The more they get that together, the better things are going to go for these 2 men.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. System Elite does not want to allow a up-and-coming tag team to make their name off of the System Elite accomplishments.
That is very, very true, Jim. I know when I was involved in tag team wrestling, if you had a young upstart team, you did what you could to squash them before they even got any momentum rolling.
Absolutely, because not only is that young team trying to get a spot, they're trying to take your spot.
Yeah, you got that right.
On the reverse side of that coin, what would a win here mean for Team Kickflip going forward? That could catapult them to the next level here at Ryse Wrestling.
Oh, that would put them in top contender status without a doubt.
And that would also make them regulars on the Ryse roster. Nice snap suplex from Ty Cross. Nice transition. Floats over into a cover. Finds 2.5.
Getting to where he could so he could apply that body weight and hook that leg.
And notice how Ty Cross took that extra second to position Chase Oliver perfectly to maximize the impact of that elbow. No wasted motion from Ty Cross, which, Paul, you can attest to is not only Tag Team Wrestling 101, that's Professional Wrestling 101.
You got it, Jim. We don't get paid by the hour in that room. It doesn't matter how long you're in there. It just matters that you win.
Look at the leg here. And one thing that, to reference your point earlier, Paul, one of the things that we can say about Team Kickflip is they rose to the occasion. They didn't crumble to the pressure. Last week at the Uprise event, they were given an opportunity. If you win, you're in. If you win, you get a spot on a Ryse event. And they didn't crumble to the pressure.
No, they did not. They're like a mid-major trying to win their way into the Final Four tournament, winning in, and they took that advantage fully, and they ran with it, and now here they are tonight on the main roster of Ryse, going up against one of the top tag teams in the area.
Beautiful back elbow from Edric Everhart, which is what we've come to expect from Ty Cross and Everhart. No holes in their game, polished athletes.
These 2 guys have been at it a long time. They know each other like brothers. They travel the roads together. They stay together. They room together. They fight together.
Nice tag team offense here. And TKD getting a little frustrated. That could be a rookie mistake. Got overzealous, and he's going to pay for it.
You've got to remember, System Elite is always thinking. They are always looking 3 and 4 moves ahead. And even something as simple as an impromptu run-in like that, they were ready for it.
Just like that, Cross saw Oliver charge in, got up the boot, drops the bow from the second rope.
Now, wait a minute, Ty Cross is shaking that knee out.
And TKD It's not the most upstanding tactic.
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
But he knows that Ty Cross has had those knee injuries, and he targeted that knee right there, and clearly it was effective because we're seeing the tide turn here.
You've got to take advantage of everything you can if you want to win. Okay, they won to get here. If they want to stay up here, they got to continue to win here. They're going back down to the minors.
And let's be honest here, Paul. Ryse Wrestling is growing by the day. We've got the Indie Wrestling Network behind us. We've got IndyWrestling.us, Smart Mark Video, one of our distribution partners. Every young athlete knows the value of being associated with Ryse.
Oh, you need to be seen in this business if you want to go places. People got to know who you are. They got to know your name. Two count only there. If they don't know who you are, you're going nowhere. And being seen by many of our media partners is the way to do that. So if you want to do that, you've got to be where that's at, and that's here at Ryse Wrestling.
And TKD, we've talked about it. He's a Taekwondo and grappling expert, so for him to latch onto that ankle spells bad news for Ty Cross.
It does, but you know, as I said last week when I was watching these guys, you can't always rely on that martial arts. I mean, think of MMA fighting. The grapplers are usually the more more versed to win matches because let's face it, everybody's 6 inches on their back, Jim.
And again, we're seeing TKD wrench and twist. I'm going to go to Red Watson here. Red, you were here last week for Uprise. How do you think that the team of Kickflip is rising to the occasion here, no pun intended, with this opportunity they're being given here against System Elite, a truly established tag team?
Well, you can see TKD there in the head of Edric Everhart just a little bit as he was able to sucker him into the ring. Of course, Ty Cross here fighting back just a little bit, but as you said, TKD, a Taekwondo student and well-versed grappler, certainly they were able to rise to the occasion last week. We'll see if they can do it here tonight. Certainly would elevate them to high tier status here in Ryse Wrestling.
And if you notice, Paul, you can speak to this. It was perfectly done. TKD showing wisdom beyond his years. He positioned himself between Ty Cross and Edric Everhart to set up for this tag team maneuver here.
Without a doubt. And then he also got rid of Edric Everhart with that forearm.
Beautiful agility from Chase Oliver. Standing moonsault. Takes the time to showboat, which could have cost him a pinfall there. That may be one of the rookie mistakes, but a smooth transition. Chase Oliver as well with the front chantry.
Now, pushing into the headlock, he's going to try to grind Ty Cross down.
Oliver trying to really dictate the pace of the contest. I'm really impressed with Team Kickflip because they're not making there's no butterflies. They're not making any of those rookie mistakes.
Oh no, they were very confident last week on the Uprise show.
Double stomp to the lumbar region, and that lumbar region is the most susceptible spot of the spine.
Now getting a little cocky.
If you get overzealous, you're going to end up looking at the lights, pal. Chase Oliver better keep his mind on the prize.
Well, as you can see, it's starting to get into Edric's head a little bit as he paces that ring apron. Sometimes you got to get into your opponent's head just a little bit, and that seems to be with Team Kickflip.
You were a master at that. You had a PhD in ring psychology.
You know it. Get them off guard. Get them thinking about everything but that win, and then you know it just like that. It's 1, 2, 3, and you're going home with the winner's purse and all the ladies.
Swing and a miss from Oliver. Innovative full Nelson slam from Ty Cross, but Cross is a long ways away from Edric Everhart.
And almost to a point here, he even in getting hit with this maneuver, he still managed to place himself between Ty Cross and Edric Everhart, making it hard for Ty Cross to get to his partner and make the tag. He's a lot closer, Team Kickflip is, to making a tag than System Elite.
Ty Cross, simultaneous tags here. In comes Everhart.
The proverbial house of fire. And Edric is really laying him in now.
This is Edric's wheelhouse. This is where he does business. Beautiful
backbreaker.
Beautifully done.
What's he setting him up for now? Edric's got him in his sights.
And TKD got his foot up. Edric telegraphed that one. But a Blue Thunder bomb. Edric plants TKD and Team Kickflip.
10 minutes gone, 10 minutes.
And Edric has laid out quite a beating on these two young men, but however, the beating the System Elite, and especially Ty Cross, has taken to this point, has just left that little bit of window of opportunity for Team Kickflip to get back on top.
Beautiful springboard code breaker. And look at this tandem offense.
Certainly utilizing the martial arts effect here. Big leg drop.
Absolutely, Team Kickflip. They're
Now,
showing some poise.
Cross returns the favor by breaking up that pin.
And we've seen the aggression elevate itself throughout this matchup. Things are really starting to break down.
It looks like a car crash out there.
Body's laying everywhere right now.
But at the end, Team Kickflip right now are the two standing. System Elite still trying to find their wheels.
Chase Oliver with a face wash trying to neutralize Tyler Cross. Of course, Edric Everhart, the legal man. Spinning kick misses from TKD. Miscue from Team Kickflip. Beautiful roaring elbow. No water in the pool. TKD was able to avoid the contact.
I think Edric hit the back of his head. He may be out.
Yeah, Edric, you saw him reaching for the lights. He may have a concussion right here. Wait a minute, small package, shoulders down. He got him.
Got it. Just like that.
In a time of 11 minutes, 39 seconds, your winners, the team of Tyler Cross and Edric Everhart, System Elite.
I'm going to say it right now, Paul. I believe Ryse Wrestling has the most competitive tag division in the Pittsburgh area today.
What do we have here?
Good piece. We eat good. We eat good. You know what I was thinking? What do you think? You know where we haven't been in a while? Toronto. No. Cleveland? No, I wasn't thinking about Cleveland. Wait. New York. I was gonna say that either. I'm fresh out, brother. Fresh out. Ryse Wrestling. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a couple months. I mean, they don't have tag team championships. We kind of lost their reason to go there. You know? Yeah, I mean, the best thing I love about us is we can miss 2 months and we come back and beat on System Elite. Oh, System Elite. Remember we did the ties meeting? Yeah, we did the same thing with the Edges a while back. Yeah, that was funny. I feel like they don't have Alexa Sandon against us. That's a good one. Yeah, Alexa Sandon to go knees. My knee hurt. You get it. Fucking idiot. So, I mean, next time we go there, I guess, Ty, Edric, System Elite. Welcome to the main event.
It's funny that they're not here. That's pretty funny. They talk about this place being their home field, right? They haven't lost here. They haven't lost here, though. You know what? December's the anniversary. And on the anniversary of Ryse, we put down the main event.
The ultra-confident main event may be a little overconfident because in just 2 weeks, on December 1st, System Elite will get their hands on Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr. The tag team division at Ryse continues to heat up.
What I've seen tonight, I think System Elite is back.
gentlemen, at this time, I would like to bring to the ring the founder and owner of Ryse Wrestling, Brandon K.
A Pittsburgh legend for nearly 2 decades, Brandon K has some type of announcement, and there's been a lot of speculation as to what the owner of Ryse has on his mind. What could this announcement be?
Well, I think we are about to find out. Brandon K, one of the few students left from my training class.
So Brandon, I brought you out here because we saw the graphic online. You wanted to get something off of your chest to everyone here.
Before I get to that, I don't get the time to do this too much. I just want to thank all of you for being big supporters of Ryse. And I want to thank all of you for being big supporters of that ladies and gentlemen in the back that worked so hard for all of us. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. 21 years ago, I started wrestling, and I'm getting a little old. And this year, you can ask Marcus, was going to be my last year to wrestle. My time to retire. Put the old man out to pasture. But this year sucked. I didn't like the way this year went. I want to wrestle certain people. I don't want to go out losing to David Lawless. I can't accept that, Marcus. I can't do it. So here's what we're going to do. Next year will be my last year in this ring. And I'm going to wrestle the guys I want to wrestle. I'm going to wrestle the best in this area. And if I have to go to their house to do it, Brandon K will go to their house and kick some ass. If that's okay with you, bring me some competitors.
You know, Brandon, I thought you might say something like that.
Don't know who I am? I'm Super Hentai, and I made my Pittsburgh wrestling debut way back on November 7th, 1998. And in that time, I've been to Japan, to Hawaii, and everywhere in between, facing such competitors such as Jerry Lynn, CM Punk, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Cole Cabana, among many, many others. But it's you, Brandon K. You're the one that pushed me to my limits, that brought the best out of me. So, I'm proposing that you and I lock horns yet again on December 1st, 2018, Ryse Anniversary Show. I challenge you, man, good friend, better competitors, Brandon K, Super Hentai, one-on-one.
You wanted the best. So, December 1st, Ryse Anniversary Show. Super Hentai is gonna be here. So I'm proposing Brandon K versus Super Hentai one last time.
You asking? What do you guys think, huh? Brandon K versus Super Hentai. All right, let's do it.
A Pittsburgh legend comes to Ryse in just 2 weeks on December 1st. Super Hentai, Brandon K, Ryse second anniversary show.
And I'll tell you what, if this is what's going to kick off the retirement tour for Brandon K, it's going to be one wild ride.
And now approaching the ring, the man who made the open challenge, hailing from TV land by way of Cleveland, Ohio, weighing in at 250 pounds, is the greatest director in all of professional wrestling, Direction.
I'm not real sure, Jim, but I think he's got a problem with you.
Yeah, well, I have a problem with Derek Direction. This guy's a slime ball. The Neon Tarantino is an egomaniac. This guy, Derek Direction, thinks that Ryse revolves around him. Derek Direction thinks that he should be the face of Ryse. Derek Direction has been terrorizing Lee Moriarty in an effort to make his name off of the Black Dragon. And ironically, when Lee was booked out of state for tonight, Derek Direction suddenly shows up.
I mean, Derek Direction, he's a prime, he's a producer, he's a director, he apparently does it all.
Cut the music, hey, get that microphone. Actually, no. I want you to stand right here and hold this microphone for me. I am Derek Direction, and I am the locker room leader of Ryse Wrestling.
This guy's an egomaniac.
All
That's
of
his
you
problem.
inbred Pittsburgh fans, month in and month out, cheer for Lee Moriarty. But where's he at? Is he backstage? No. He's in Cleveland filming some customs for some creepy old man. I am the best professional wrestler Ryse has. Month in and month out, all these loser wrestlers in the back come up to me and say, Daddy Direction, can you please watch my match? Can you please give me feedback? And I tell them like the jizz, they suck. They're horrible. They might as well burn their boots. Now, like I said on Facebook, it doesn't matter who the booker, Marcus Mann, puts up against me, because that's going to be the same outcome anytime. So whoever you have, Marcus Mann, bring them out.
That was brilliant.
I have the best idea ever. Hold on. Hold on. I want this match to start.
You going one way?
Jinx, hold on. Hold on. Here, come on. Hold on.
Now wait a minute, Derek Direction said he'd fight anybody, and as soon as the bell rings, he takes a pout.
I'm with you.
What does this guy got in mind right now?
I like where this is going. I think you should have a seat. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Eye contact. I'm a director. You should have a seat. You know Marcus Mann, the director, the owner of this place, whatever, he's the booker. Do you want the names? Do you want to wrestle the names? Do you want all the opportunities?
I get, yeah.
Well, let's see how well you can take direction, Jinx.
She's got a handful of direction.
I think he's going to go in whatever direction she wants.
Some things speak for themselves.
I have nothing further.
I don't think Direction's wearing a cup.
My guess would be no, based on his reaction, and Jinx rightfully taking exception to Direction's direction.
Jinx up and over here. Roll through from Jinx. She gets Direction over. Beautiful Hurricane Rana. And Direction is so pompous, so arrogant, so cocky that he would have a lot of egg on his face if he comes out on the losing end of this open challenge matchup.
Oh, without a doubt, this would definitely hinder his ability to book some of the top name stars for his movies.
Yeah, this guy's one flew over the cuckoo's nest goofy.
I won't debate you on that.
What are you doing?
Blatant pull of the hair from Direction, but we're used to him outright breaking the rules. Jinx has Direction all out of sorts.
Going for the backslide.
Shoulders down. Direction able to use his weight advantage to roll out of that one. But make no mistake about it, Jinx is dynamite in a small package, man.
Oh, without a doubt, but she's got to remember there is a huge size advantage here. She's got to use a lot more sense, a lot more smarts if she wants to put Derek Direction down.
Man, what an elbow. A hero-esque elbow, and we talked about the time that Derek Direction spent under the learning tree of one Cassius Ohno, and there you're seeing it in action right there. Rolling elbow that caught Jinx right in the side of the jaw. And the complexion of this matchup changed very, very quickly.
He's definitely got the advantage on this young lady right now, but like I said before, the chick is crazy, so you never know what's going to happen.
The phrase cute but psycho comes to mind to describe Jinx.
Reminds me of one of my ex-girlfriends, but I don't want to get into that right now.
I don't think we need to. Something about burning your couch, and I don't want to go there.
I have the foul, referee.
Christmas is coming up, Paul. I could use a new couch.
I'll see what I can do.
Shot right to the sternum of Jinx. And this is where Derek Direction can really exploit that size advantage. But the Bloody Adorable is such a unique commodity. I think it's difficult for some of her opponents, and in this case, Direction unknowingly to prepare for it.
Oh yeah, she's hard enough to prepare for when you know she's going to be on the other side of the ring against you. But when you don't know, that makes it even more challenging.
Beautiful counter from Jinx, but Direction able to stay one step ahead.
But over the last couple of months, Jinx has gone toe-to-toe with London Ali, who is one of the top women's wrestlers in the area. So Jinx is no slouch.
Oh, absolutely not. Jinx is she'll fight anybody. Hence why she answered this open challenge.
She's definitely not afraid. I think that's what makes her a little crazy.
Jinx is fearless, and she really has a cult following. People just, as eccentric as she is, people love this girl.
Oh, there's no two ways about that. And while we're on the subject, let's send a shout out to her tag partner, Sean Phoenix, on Get Well Soon Quick, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Phoenix suffered a fractured skull at a recent event, and quite frankly, it's great to see Sean Phoenix recovering, and I have no doubt that the Phoenix will rise again.
Oh, there's no two ways about it. He was on the Upright show doing some commentary with us last week. The man's feeling good. He's looking good. And I know Jinx has him in her thoughts right now. But she's got to get out of this real quick or it's going to be over.
Leverage maneuver, roll through, shoulders down!
That was very close.
Almost with the upset.
Psychologically, what would a loss here mean to Derek Direction?
Oh, he'd go nuts. He'd go off the deep end.
He's already off the deep end.
Wow, beautiful.
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
Low angle German. Jinx took a low center of gravity and she got Direction over.
That is impressive for a young lady that size to take over somebody the size of Derek Direction.
Well, that's like they say in football, the low man wins every single time, and Jinx lowered that center of gravity and won out there.
And I'm going to tell you what, Derek Direction wants to make a statement in this rivalry with Lee Moriarty. As I said before, he will have egg all over his face if he's defeated here in this open challenge matchup. And you want to talk about how tough Jinx is. She's going shot for shot with Derek Direction. And the Bloody Adorable is on a tear.
He's got that psycho strength. You got to remember that. A couple big solid hits into that corner. Now where's she going with it?
Jinx charges.
Oh!
2 feet right to the chest, and Direction gasping for air. She hooks the leg. And that time Direction just having to extend his ankles out to try to get to the ropes there. I don't know if Direction had enough air left in his lungs to be able to kick out there.
All right, that's great ring presence, because I think had he not been there, this match would be over.
Look out! Jinx hits it. That's her coup de grace here.
Trying to roll the big man over.
2.5. And win, lose, or draw, Jinx has proven that she can and will hang step for step with anybody on the roster.
That is no doubt. Her and London Ali both have laid claim to want to be the first female Ryse.
Oh, man. Jinx got caught and hit the canvas very, very hard that time. And now Direction again going to use that size advantage to really squeeze and constrict the breathing as well. Dropping elbows to the side of the face.
He can't keep her down, and it's driving him insane. But I'm not sure here. I think Jinx may be out.
She had no way to protect herself. And what a sleazeball. And the Derek Direction deserves to get punched in the mouth. I cannot stand this guy.
Well, he seemed to have a real problem with you when he came out here, too. I don't know what that's all about, but that's for you two guys to settle.
Because I call it as I see it. I tell you that Derek Direction is one of the most talented athletes you're going to see on the independent circuit. And at the same time, the guy's an insufferable jerk who just missed the moonsault.
Caught nothing but air on that.
And the Bloody Adorable going to work. She got caught. Look out! Buckle bomb! Her spine racking off the turnbuckles, and now a sunset flip bomb. Jinx head racking off the buckles as well.
I swear she's concussed, and she is what is he going for now? This is too much now. Come on. Let's extend this thing.
She doesn't have a way to protect herself.
Come on, referee. Wait a minute. It is Lee Moriarty's music. Is Lee in the house tonight? Has he pulled one over on Derek Direction?
The Black Dragon may have seen enough. The apex of combat could be ready to fight here.
And Derek Direction is staring him down. We're looking towards the back. I don't know if Lee is here. It seems like he's here.
Wait, Direction was distracted. And Jinx, crucifix bomb! Shoulders down! She got him!
Big win for this young lady.
In a time of 9 minutes, 27 seconds, your winner, the Bloody Adorable Jinx!
I don't know who Lee Moriarty paid off, but that was just enough of a distraction for Jinx to get the 1, 2, 3. Lee Moriarty has played the mind games, and he has beaten Derek Direction at his own game.
The open challenge backfires on the Neon Tarantino. A slight assist from the Black Dragon, and Jinx is victorious. Lee Moriarty getting one up on the director of professional wrestling. Give it up one time for Jinx, a tremendous win for the Bloody Adorable. Her stock here in the Stronghold continues to rise.
She has just laid claim as being the one who could be the first women's Ryse Grand Champion. And Derek Direction is throwing a fit in the middle of the ring.
I know they're all thinking I'm so wide and nerdy. Just too nerdy. Just too nerdy. See, I'm nerdy.
Introducing first, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, weighing 160 pounds, this is Lawless.
Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, the second half of Ryse Wrestling at the Stronghold, November 17, 2018. My name is Jim Milano. He is the legendary Paul Atlas with Mr. Red Watson here with us. And we are here to see Lewis tackle the very macabre challenge of one Christian Noir.
And now, accompanied to the ring by Shirley Doe and representing the Grindhouse, hailing from the French Quarter, Louisiana, weighing 200 pounds, is the Bayou Scarecrow, Christian Noir.
From Romero's worst nightmare, the Grindhouse is here to inflict as much pain and punishment on Ryse as humanly possible.
I'll tell you something, Christian Noir was something to deal with before, but now under the tutelage of the master of the mind games, Shirley Doe, he has become even more dangerous.
We've seen Grindhouse make their intentions clear. They want to exploit as much power and control over Ryse as they can, and Lewis may be the unlucky sacrifice the Grindhouse makes to prove that point.
Now, these guys don't care about wins and losses. They just want to hurt people, maim people, and even in some cases, I think, kill people.
Now, Lewis, as you said, Paul, is one of the most durable athletes we've seen in Ryse, one of the most capable. He's got as much heart as anybody, but that heart may not be enough to match the dark soul that is possessed by Christian Noir. Noir is one of the most volatile and one of the most violent on the roster. And look at the bizarre rituals that Noir has when he's coming to the ring here.
Oh, this guy is definitely, he's from another world altogether.
Oh, he's not all there.
And like I said, he's now hooked up with the master of the mind game, Shirley Doe, and that just makes him even more and more dangerous. Then you add the power and the unpredictability of Beastman. This is Grindhouse is without a doubt a force to be reckoned with.
And that's the nasty side of Noir, just trying to hook the eyes, trying to stick his thumbs a knuckle deep into the eyes of Lewis.
And you know what? He won't go underneath those glasses. He'll try to go right through them.
Absolutely. That's exactly what he was trying to do. And of course, before things get too out of hand, we have to mention that we are being distributed through the Indie Wrestling Network, IndyWrestling.us, Sidekick Media, and Smart Mark Video. We want to thank everyone for making this broadcast possible. But I don't know if Lewis will be thanking a little bit of the Johnny Saint world of sports style, huh?
It's a little different, and I think, I don't know if Christian White knows how to handle this.
For those that may be unaware, this is a defensive tactic from the British style of wrestling. Johnny Saint, the general manager of the NXT UK brand, is a legend in his native country of England. So that's why this maneuver is so well known.
And this has definitely got Christian Noir off his game.
It's a lot of sorts. Lewis is a human Rubik's Cube here or something. And Lewis suckers Noir in. And the complexion of this matchup changes here. Launches Noir out of the corner. Noir very wisely seeking the solace to the outside. And that right there is actually what makes the Grindhouse so dangerous.
Yes, and again,
they are calculating. They are maniacal. They have a plan. They have a macabre strategy for everything they do.
And that comes from the mind of Shirley Doe. This man has been around for decades now, and he has a keen mind, a vicious mind, and that's where all this comes from.
And even Doe just being out here at ringside is unsettling.
Well, you never know what that man's going to do. He seems a little off balance, but trust me, Shirley Doe knows what he's doing at any given moment. And he's trying to instill that into Christian.
Absolutely. Swing around kick right to the face. You know, Doe reminds me of Jim Jones of professional wrestling, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we saw
David
how well that turned out. But you're right, Jim. That's the type of mind he has. He can get into their heads. He can get them to do his bidding through his mind games, through his tactics. And it just makes anyone who gets involved with him just more and more dangerous by the day.
And this is the aggressive side of Noir as he's just choking away at Lewis. And I'm going to ask Mr. Watson over here, if you're Lewis, how do you prepare for someone like Christian Noir?
Well, I don't really think there's any way that you can prepare for someone like Christian Noir. He's truly one of a kind, comes from some dark place somewhere, and Lewis might have to employ some of his intellect here to even have a shot at overcoming the mentality of Christian Noir here.
Well, let's
that aggressiveness against him.
Overcoming the intimidation of Noir, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? There's no calculation. There's no algorithm for this kind of crazy, this kind of mindset. So I don't know that that's going to help Lewis out.
I don't hear you people cheering for Lewis now! Where you guys at now?
And notice how Shirley Doe loves to incite this Ryse crowd here. Doe enjoys this type of verbal torture.
Let's face it, he enjoys inciting riots.
And now the numbers game coming into play too.
Once again, the cunningness of Shirley Doe, the mindset of Shirley Doe.
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
You're seeing Noir use his own head as a weapon.
I think that's what makes Noir so dangerous, is he's willing to use any part of his body as a weapon.
Shoulders down here. Noir escapes. Lewis telegraphed it.
Going for that backslide.
Shoulders down again. And Lewis staying one step ahead of Noir. Crucifix pin.
But notice, each 3 count gets closer and closer.
And to your point, Red, Noir using his body as a weapon, hurling himself at Lewis. And at this point, while a victory for Lewis would certainly move him up the ranks,
I don't know, Lewis may be injured here.
I think at this point, Lewis just wants to get out of this matchup in one piece. And this is Noir. Noir's going to employ that physicality here. Has Lewis boxed in the corner.
You know, in the past, it would be a lot more uncontrolled, but since hooking up again with Shirley Doe, there's a much more control to Noir's game. There's a much more sadistic control to how he approaches these matches.
A much more cerebral aspect to his ring strategy as well.
Without a doubt. And that, again, that comes from the wisdom of Shirley Doe, if you will.
Noir followed through with the clothesline, put all his weight behind that. Lewis kicks out. Doe very upset.
I don't think he was too pleased with that by his verbiage. Sometimes we got to remind Shirley Doe this is a family show.
Lewis looks in a bad way here, but you can't ever count him out. That's one thing we've learned here throughout Ryse Pro Wrestling is that Lewis always has a chance.
That's why I call him the Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling. He can take a beating and then he comes out with a pin somehow miraculously.
A high-risk situation here. The direction of this matchup could be determined through this series of events. There's what you were talking about, Paul. Lewis is fighting.
He always seems to find a way to dig down deep.
Noir runs into a boot, got overzealous.
Big double axe handle.
Right between the eyes. And this is why you can't undersell Lewis. Beautiful back elbow connects.
This is where that tenacity of Lewis comes in. Hey, I seen Revenge of the Nerds. They can come out on top.
Shotgun drop kick from Lewis as he's mounting an offense.
Plus they got all the chicks, and I couldn't figure that out either.
And what an upset here. Can Lewis get Noir out from the corner? And Noir was too close to the ropes there. Just too close to the ropes that time. But again, that shows you the desperation. That shows you the scenario that Lewis is involved in here. He's taking a pinfall attempt whenever he can get it. And under these circumstances, you really can't blame him. As I said earlier, Lewis just wants to get out of this one in one piece.
Now, there's no two ways about that. I think Lewis may have bit off a little more than he can chew in this match. Because again, when you face a man that has no soul, who has no conscience, he'll do about anything, including kill you, to get the victory.
Big clothesline from Lewis sends Noir inside out. Lewis shoots the half. Hooks the leg here. And just barely, Lewis was inches away from an upset victory.
He seems stunned that Christian was able to kick out of that.
And at what point does being unable to put away a man like Christian Noir begin to weigh on Lewis? How does that frustration start to favor Christian Noir, especially with the psychological advantage that he already possesses?
That's going to get into his mind deeper and deeper. Yes, Christian Noir already plays head games as it is, but an inability to put him away makes it even worse.
Up and over goes Lewis. Shoulders down. Codebreaker.
Surely does up on the apron here.
And Lewis isn't going to back down even from Doe. Now wait a minute, Noir vomiting up some type of liquid on his hand here.
I think that's that mist that he... What is he doing?
I believe Noir is trying to asphyxiate Lewis. He's got the mouth and the nose covered, I believe.
But I also think he has that mist on his hand.
He's trying to smother Lewis with that putrid mist.
Into a choke slam.
And Lewis might be unconscious.
In a time of 10 minutes, 29 seconds, your winner, the Bayou Scarecrow, Christian Noir.
Noir has no peers and no fears. No one is quite as demented as Christian Noir, and no stable here in Ryse may be as dangerous as the Grindhouse.
And this is now another innovative way in which Christian Noir has used that mist. He almost used it like chloroform to incapacitate Lewis.
No remorse and no soul from Christian Noir.
Approaching entering the ring from Cleveland, Ohio, weighing 220 pounds. He is the man at war, Zach Thomas.
Zach Thomas is waging a personal war against society. This man is ultra aggressive and a very violent young athlete.
And he is slowly but surely climbing the ranks of Ryse, victory by victory. Zach Thomas with a few choice words from some of our ringside fans here.
Thomas will fight anybody.
Well, he don't care. He'll fight your mother. He doesn't care.
And his opponent, wrestling out of Fort Indian Town Gap, Pennsylvania, weighing 170 pounds. He is the Keystone Soldier, Drake Braddock.
Drake Braddock is no stranger to war himself, Jim LaMotta. This man was in Iraq. He survived an IED explosion, and he knows exactly what it means to go to war. And look out, here comes Zach Thomas, wasting no time.
And gentlemen, let's not forget, this is the rematch from last month, and these two really scratched and clawed at one another. It was Drake Braddock victorious in that matchup. Zach Thomas looking for a measure of revenge, and just like last month, we had BC Steel pulling up a chair at ringside.
I hope he paid for that.
Now remember, it was a former protege of BC Steel, one Bulk Nasty, that Drake Braddock defeated to really catapult his career here at Ryse.
And that also caused Bulk Nasty to kick BC Steel to the curb. So is it Zach Thomas he's looking at, or is he looking for some revenge against Drake Braddock?
Standing moonsault from Drake Braddock. Yeah, there's a lot of variables, a lot of elements at play here. We've got this rematch. So these two are familiar with one another. And you heard that.
Braddock is right in there on Zach Thomas right now.
Well, you have to, because this aggressive athlete will put you to the canvas the same way he just did to Drake Braddock right there. And I got to be honest, with BC Steel out here, things are a little unsettling. You don't know what his agenda is.
Yeah, he likes to play this. He's been playing this very close to the vest these last couple of events that we've had here at Ryse Wrestling. Nobody's really sure exactly what BC Steel is up to.
And we've sung the praises of Zach Thomas, who has an unlimited amount of potential as Braddock kicks out. Zach Thomas has an unlimited amount of potential, but at the same time, it was Drake Braddock who defeated Bulk Nasty. So just who is BC Steel out here scouting? I mean, would Drake Braddock really consider the services of BC Steel?
I don't know if he would or not, but I know Zach Thomas, like you said, tons of potential, but that's raw potential. So perhaps that's what BC Steel sees, raw potential, somebody he can mold into what he wants as a fighter.
Zach Thomas is a man that just has so much inner rage that he expels inside that squared circle.
I don't think this guy likes anyone, including himself, and that's where that rage comes from.
He is overwhelmingly violent, and he overwhelms his opponents with that aggression.
That time he took his eye off the ball.
Braddock shoots the half, finds 2.5.
Sometimes that's to a fault for Zach Thomas. He's so worried about being angry at everything around him. He took his eyes off the ball, and that gave Drake Braddock an opportunity to go for that roll.
Yeah, certainly being over-aggressive may be the one chink in his armor. And perhaps with maybe BC Steel's guidance, he could focus Zach Thomas in.
And that's definitely what this guy needs, is focus. He's definitely, like I said, he's got raw potential. He's got raw strength and power. It's the focus right now that I see he lacks. Maybe you're right. That's
beautiful exploder. Finds 2.5. Continue, Paul.
Maybe that's exactly what Zach Thomas needs, is that focus that BC Steel can provide. And I can't believe I'm putting BC Steel over.
Well, we all commit sins in our lives eventually, right?
Some of us more than others.
Good thing the Rev's not out here. He'd be trying to douse us with holy water.
It would just burn.
And look at how Thomas has Drake Braddock all bent out of shape and taking those unprotected shots to the face.
Man's trying to get behind Drake Braddock here as he starts to fire back at the midsection of Zach Thomas.
Thomas charges. Forearm shot. You heard the impact.
He puts all that weight behind those blows. Everything he has. Big elbow into the corner again with all his weight.
Blunt force trauma from Zach Thomas, but he telegraphed at that time. Ran right into a pair of boots.
Nice roll through. Wow, look at the strength that Zach Thomas is exhibiting here. Into the Samoan drop.
What a transition. Again, raw power, raw force.
You know, and again, I can't believe I'm putting BC Steel over here, but I think this is what Zach Thomas may need if he wants to get to the next level. He needs to stay focused on his game. He has the power. He has the ability, but sometimes
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
He takes his eye off that ball. And I think a man like BC Steel could possibly reel him in.
As you said, Paul, Drake Braddock, an Iraqi war veteran. He knows all about war. Beautiful bicycle knee.
Zach Thomas is definitely reeling at this point. I don't know if he knows where he is right now. He's stumbling around that ring like a drunk soldier.
Shotgun drop kick from Braddock. And again, we're seeing innovative offense from Drake Braddock, a true staple of his offense.
He's going up here. What's he going to hit? All the way to the top floor.
Huge cross body, shoulders down.
That's about as close as you can get.
Absolutely. And Paul, we've seen since that win over Bulk Nasty, Drake Braddock has been building momentum each and every time he's in the stronghold. But could that momentum come to a very abrupt halt right here?
It could very well, but you got to remember, a man the size of Drake Braddock, and again, we talk about his heart and his ability. He's not a big man. To take down a monster like Bulk Nasty the way he did, that's huge. That's huge for his confidence.
And notice just one misstep from Drake Braddock, and Thomas capitalized with a Falcon Arrow.
Big kick out there.
And the way he had Braddock stacked up, it took all that Braddock had in the tank to get his shoulders off the canvas that time. You can see the head snap back.
And with each one of those blows, you get a little more foggy, a little more out of it. And eventually that could become a big disadvantage. Look at the way that Zach Thomas puts his weight in behind these maneuvers.
Once again, blunt force trauma from Zach Thomas.
It's like getting hit by a truck. Oh, referee got in the way there.
Referee Josh Main inadvertently got sandwiched. We're going to need some help out here.
Zach Thomas doesn't seem to care.
Braddock avoided the contact, but Josh Main did not. No referee.
I don't think it matters with these guys. I don't think they care if there's a referee or not.
A high kick catches Thomas right behind the ear. Thomas may be knocked out. He got hit with that kick right behind the ear. That was pinpoint precision from the bullet catcher.
And Braddock now trying to check on the referee. I think you better worry about Zach Thomas right now, not the referee.
Oh, wait a minute. BC Steel now He just slid that chair into Drake Braddock. Could this be an indecent proposal from BC Steel?
Maybe we had it wrong all along. It's not the focus he's worried about of Zach Thomas, but maybe he's after the man who beat the man who kicked BC Steel to the curb. And I believe Drake Braddock is thinking about, well, no, never mind. I thought he thought about it for a second there. And he better not take his eye off the ball here.
Drake doesn't realize that Thomas has that chair, and he just tattooed Drake Braddock. Oh my, hit Braddock right in the face.
Right between the eyes, and Braddock might be out here.
Drags the lifeless body over. Drags the lifeless body of the referee over. And just like that, Zach Thomas is your winner.
In a time of 8 minutes, 43 seconds, your winner, the man at war, Zach Thomas.
A violent answer to BC Steel's open invitation. And we may be seeing the next client of Steel Corp. And we may be seeing a future champion here at Ryse.
And I think when he wakes up from this, Drake Braddock may regret that decision to ignore BC Steel, because it not only cost him the match, it might have cost him his health as well.
Zach Thomas is a violent man, but what will he be capable of with BC Steel at his side?
Introducing the challenger from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing 230 pounds. He is the Camel, David Lawless, Esquire.
David Lawless may not fear the Reaper, but he sure as hell better fear Matt Conard, because the Ryse Grand Championship is the most important title in Matt Conard's life, is the most important possession in Matt Conard's life. And Lawless may have learned his way into this title shot, but he may be facing some very severe repercussions by the end of this evening.
Now let's face it, I know I have not always followed the letter of the law in my career, But the way David Lawless got here to this title match, in my mind, is really despicable. The way he tricked Brandon Kay, the way he utilized his cunning as a lawyer to get to this match. Quite frankly, I don't know.
The workhorse of Ryse, the hardest working man.
The ring, the defending Ryse Grand Champion out of Derry, Maine, weighing 215 pounds. He is the Reaper, Matt Conard.
The hardest working man in Pittsburgh professional wrestling today. And the Ryse Grand Champion. He is the Reaper, Matt Conard.
The Grand Championship of Ryse Wrestling is what it's all about. Matt Conard has it, David Lawless wants it, and here we go.
And immediately Lawless, too overzealous, but cuts Conard off here. Ryse Grand Championship match. I haven't heard a bell yet, so I'm assuming we're not officially started. Paul, as you said, Lawless tormented Brandon Kay for months and months in an attempt to get a shot at the Grand Championship. And Lawless refused to step in the ring with Brandon Kay unless a championship shot was on the line.
And I believe that was his goal all along. It was not just to humiliate Brandon Kay, but it was to get a shot at the Grand Championship and embarrass Brandon Kay by winning the prize of the promotion that Brandon Kay owns, the top dog.
By hook or by crook, David Lawless is on a several-month winning streak.
That streak could come to an end tonight, because let's face it, there's not a more tenacious champion in the history of this sport as Matt Conard is.
As much as I hate to say it, the Ryse Grand Championship could be in real jeopardy here. And Paul, you know that if Lawless walks out of here with that championship title, we will never hear the end of it.
Oh, without a doubt. He'll be insufferable. He will be so hard to deal with.
Nice uppercut shot from Conard to slow the gavel down. And they're out in the seats here. This is as much of a fist fight as it is a wrestling contest.
Yeah. Matt Conard had to sit back for months, even as he was attempting to win the Grand Championship.
Gentlemen, if they come any closer, you'll be talking to yourself, because I'm getting out of here. And Conard making Lawless pay for all of his sins against Ryse.
And that's what I was trying to say before we were rudely interrupted by their presence near our table. Matt Conard had to watch for months and months as David Lawless perpetrated the crime of the century, if you will. If he's not a criminal attorney, he should be one, because this is just criminal how he got to this point.
And things have been all over the place here, but as I said, we still don't have an opening bell. Maybe we will now.
All right, I guess we are officially underway.
My name's Jim Amata, he's Paul Atlas. We're joined by Red Watson. This Grand Championship main event, Ryse Pro Wrestling at the Stronghold, November 17th, 2018, IndyWrestling.us and the Indie Wrestling Network bringing you this Grand Championship matchup. The Reaper Matt Conard defends against David Lawless.
Guys, Lawless looks rough right now. Reaper seems to have his number right now.
But what makes this whole thing so unsettling is you just never know how the gavel's going to, and I believe we're seeing how he's bending the rules right now. He had that oak gavel in his hand when he tattooed Conard between the eyes with it.
As much as I hate to say it, like I said before, it ain't cheating if you don't get caught. And David Lawless didn't get caught using it, so.
Well, make no mistake about it. Lawless will take any path to the championship that he can. The gavel has no conscience. And right now, the challenger is in firm control of the champion. Hooks the inside leg for just one. You're not gonna put Conard down just yet.
No. You're gonna have to take every breath out of this man if you think you're gonna win that grand championship.
But Lawless cannot allow himself to be distracted by the crowd here. You're in there with the grand champion, pal. You hesitate in there with Matt Conard, you're going to be looking up at the lights.
Without a doubt. You know, that's one thing about David Lawless. This man, he always needs to be the center of attention. This guy goes to a funeral, he's mad, he's not the corpse.
And let's not forget, this entire plan, this entire strategy from David Lawless, it's an ego trip. Lawless wants to make Ryse Pro Wrestling about David Lawless. But he can wrestle, as we can see. A beautiful Kurt Hennig neck snap.
There's no doubt about that. He learned from Brandon Kay, who is one of the best, without a doubt.
Lateral press here. Again, finding just one. A lackadaisical cover will not get it done against the Ryse Grand Champion.
You're not going to beat a man like Matt Conard by just laying loosely across him. You need to hook a leg, you need to hook an ankle, you need to hook whatever you can.
Counter from the champion. And I got to give the gavel credit. He was able to telegraph it and make Conard pay there. Kick right to the temple, and you can see the champion favoring the side of his head.
Well, let's face it, he's a shyster of a lawyer, but he's also a great athlete. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be here in Ryse Wrestling, and he would not be competing for the Grand Championship tonight.
And Mr. Watson, I'm going to ask you, if you're David Lawless, what strategy do you employ against the champion here?
Well, it's like Paul Atlas said, you're going to have to take every breath out of Matt Conard to keep him down. I think if you're David Lawless, you have to stay on your man and beat him until he no longer can answer the bell.
I believe we're seeing some false bravado here from David Lawless. He may be trying to play some mind games, but make no mistake about it. Lawless is smart enough to know who he's in there with.
Again, a lackadaisical lateral press by David Lawless. If he thinks he's going to toy with Matt Conard until he's ready to beat him, he might want to rethink that strategy, because Matt Conard is one hell of an athlete, and he can beat you in a moment's notice.
Absolutely. I think the argument could be made that Matt Conard is the most well-rounded wrestler in Pittsburgh wrestling today.
Oh, without a doubt, pound for pound, he is probably the best wrestler in the area today, if not top 5 at least.
The Reaper makes his way back up to a vertical base, fighting out here. Conard charges, and Lawless saw him coming in.
Right off the top of the head.
Nasty collision. Leg drop, beautiful vertical leap.
Standing leg drop. Like I said, he might be a shyster, but David Lawless is still a great athlete.
And believe me, it pains me greatly to give Lawless any credit whatsoever, but the man is a capable wrestler. As you said, Paul, he wouldn't be in this position if he wasn't. Lawless looks like he's getting a little frustrated.
I think he thought this would be a lot easier than it was, and that could be the flawless David Lawless's big flaw tonight.
Well, things have gone according to plan for Lawless. He was able to manipulate his way through the training class.
5 minutes on 5 minutes.
He was able to manipulate his way even through Brandon Kay. But he's running into a completely different equation here with the Reaper Matt Conard. And at this stage of the game, we have to ask just who will be the Ryse Grand Champion going into our 2nd anniversary show in just 2 weeks.
Right now, it's a coin flip. Either one of these men could walk out tonight based on what's gone on so far.
Wait a minute, Lawless. He caught Conard on the canvas, and Conard almost got caught with his shoulders down there.
Conard landed awkwardly on his neck. Hopefully he didn't injure that neck.
And as you see it, Paul, he grasps that neck immediately. And we're at a virtual stalemate here, gentlemen.
And as you said, in 2 weeks we will be at the 2nd anniversary of Ryse Wrestling. And at this point, this title is definitely up for grabs.
Pittsburgh legend Super Hentai will step in the ring with Brandon K.
That will be one for the ages, without a doubt.
Former ECW original Chris Hamrick will be in the house that night, but who will be the Ryse Grand Champion on the biggest night in Ryse history, the 2nd anniversary, December 1st.
Conard's digging down deep now, trying to make his comeback on the gavel.
And gentlemen, let's not forget the personal animosity between these two. When Matt Conard, wait a minute, shoulders down here.
Could have him here.
2.5. When Matt Conard had the chance to walk out of the stronghold with 2 titles in that Remix versus Ryse championship matchup with Corey, it was David Lawless that ruined the conclusion of that matchup.
And I know Matt Conard felt he could have walked out with both titles that night, but thanks to Lawless, he could not do that, and that is definitely a thorn in his side and a bone of contention for the Matt Conard here tonight.
Good, sir.
So certainly that has to weigh heavy on the mind of Matt Conard as he attempts to make Lawless pay for all of the misdeeds that Lawless has committed over the past several months here at the Stronghold.
Absolutely ruining a championship shot. Did Lawless, and man, he nailed Conard with the neck breaker. That could be all.
We still don't know what the effects of Matt Conard landing on his neck was earlier, and I'm sure if there was any ill effect from that, it has definitely been compounded by that maneuver there.
Absolutely, and make no mistake about it, it's no coincidence that Lawless is targeting the neck now. When it comes to in-ring strategy, Lawless is as good as anybody.
Oh, he's a jerk, but he's not an idiot.
Victory roll! Victory roll! Into a heel hook!
He's trying to lock that in.
Heel hook!
He's got it in tight. He's got it in tight.
Can Lawless reach the ropes, or will he tap away his chances at the Grand Championship?
Will months master of submissions?
Will months of manipulation go to waste, and Lawless finds a reprieve in the ring ropes?
I think if Conard had him more in the center of the ring on that particular maneuver, Jim, this match definitely would have been over. I don't think that the gavel would have gotten out had he been in the center of the ring.
Conard pressing the advantage, make no mistake about it. Conard knows the type of challenger he has in front of him here. The gavel avoids the contact. Neckbreaker off the ropes, nicely done.
If you've noticed, since Conard landed on that neck, Lawless continues to go back to different maneuvers to wear that neck down.
Unfamiliar territory for Lawless. No water home. No water in the pool. And Conard like a shark, like a pit bull, latching onto the leg with a heel hook.
And notice now he's got himself positioned between Lawless and the ropes.
The champion is wrenching and twisting, trying to contort that ankle.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. Each and every time that Conard locks that in, Lawless has to fight to those ropes. More and more damage is being done to that knee and ankle area.
Now Conard on the attack here.
Conard's a true pro. He's going to try to put this one out. And a low blow. We saw Lawless utilize this maneuver for months. Not this way, no! And Conard kicks out.
Lawless is beside himself. He thought for sure that once again that shot of his would end this contest. Now, unbelievably, some chants going out for the gavel.
David Lawless looks like he's in shock.
Come on, referee, you can't let him use that.
Yeah, Nick Davidson needs to assert some authority here. Conard puts on the brakes.
And now sees that gavel in Lawless's hand.
Vicious headbutt, bicycle kick. Drop that DDT.
Got it locked in.
And he got it.
Over. Once again, Matt Conard retains the Grand Championship of Ryse.
In a time of 11 minutes, 17 seconds, your winner and still Ryse Grand Champion, the Reaper, Matt Conard.
It took everything that Conard had.
What is this all about? Hold on now.
What music is this?
I have no idea what's going on here.
This isn't Conard's music. What are we doing here?
No, I don't know what's going on here. Conard seems a little confused himself.
Oh, I don't know. That's a casket.
And what are these?
Who the hell are these guys?
Here?
And where the hell did they get a casket? What? Oh, what's going on here?
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea what's going on here.
I'm getting the creeps here.
We have several gentlemen cloaked in red, one cloaked in gray, and they're wheeling a casket down towards Matt Conard.
These guys are obviously shielding their identity, but I don't know what the Noir and Doe have emerged from the casket.
They're surrounding Conard. Big bicycle kick to Doe.
It's a setup.
Oh my! Big forearm to the side of the head by Christian.
The Grindhouse has targeted the Grand Champion.
Once again, the Grindhouse rears its ugly head and now beating down our Grand Champion once again. And I don't know exactly what the plot here is, but now Christian Noir is choking Matt Conard with that noose.
He's choking out the Grand Champion, and we need help out here. We need security or something. Conard's going to get seriously hurt. The Grand Champion is in jeopardy.
This is just a straight up mugging at this point, gentlemen.
The maniacal Shirley Doe screaming at Matt Conard, holding that Grand Championship.
This has gone too far.
Come on, we've got to have some kind of security out here.
The Grindhouse is not only trying to end the career of Conard, they're trying to end his livelihood.
Shirley Doe continuing to scream at Conard. Oh, now hits Conard right in the head with his own championship.
A disturbing display by the Grindhouse.
Shirley Doe making the comment that they want to end the life. And there goes
Noir
again with that
with the fist, some type of chloroform. And Noir he's trying to smother, he's trying to suffocate Matt Conard.
I don't know what's in that mist or what's going on here, but Matt Conard is out. Completely out from that mist. Completely out from having himself smothered by the hand and mist of Christian Noir. And now Christian licking the Grand Championship belt.
Clearly, this is a message, Paul. Noir wants that Grand Championship.
Come on now. The man is out. This is enough. What are they doing here now?
They've got this casket out here, and I'm imploring anyone listening to us to get somebody out here because Conard is hurt.
They have just put Matt Conard into that casket, and Shirley Doe is closing the lid.
Could the career of Matt Conard be laid to rest by the Grindhouse?
At this moment in time, I would have to say so. Shirley Doe administering the last rites on our grand champion. This is a deplorable act. This is beyond reprehensible. These guys are not human.
The Grindhouse is coming for the grand championship.
Well, if you didn't think they were before, you definitely know they are now.
Gentlemen, we've got to sign off. This is disturbing. For Red Watson and Paul Atlas, my name's Jim Amato. We'll see you back here at the Stronghold December 1st for Ryse's second anniversary show. Make sure you keep up with RyseWrestling.com, Ryse Wrestling on Facebook, IndyWrestling.us, and the Indie Wrestling Network. Will the Grindhouse sacrifice the soul of the Ryse Grand Champion?
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.